This is Jon Acosta Productions, and welcome to yet another episode of Tutorial Tuesdays. Alright, where we go over the latest and greatest in Final Cut Pro, Adobe After Effects, and Adobe Premiere so you can get the best workflow and make the most money efficiently. Today, we're talking a little bit about the workflow between Final Cut Pro and After Effects and how you can actually manage that, because as we all know as editors, those aren't the same suites. Adobe makes Adobe After Effects and Premiere, and Final Cut Pro is made by Apple. So how do we get our footage from one side to the other, especially when you're working with green screen footage? Well, today I want to show you guys a couple of tricks to do that, a little tool that you can actually download absolutely free to make it happen efficiently and seamlessly, and speed up the workflow process in general. So let's jump right into it. Let's get into Final Cut Pro and talk about it. So here we are in Final Cut Pro 7.0, and we're currently working in a project that we shot a couple of weeks ago for a real estate agency. And what you're looking at is actually the final product. We see here in the canvas the final product where it was once green screened, but now it's a gradient in the background. We have our font that looks nice, and the little watermark in the bottom left. Everything looks great. But before we get to that, we're actually going to start from scratch, where it looks like this. So this is how it was actually captured on set: a green screen, a woman, and lights, and boom, that's it. So we're going to go through a three-step process, and this is going to be the first of a three-part series in Tutorial Tuesdays. So the first step is going to be to get rid of this green screen in the background. The question is, how is that done? And a lot of people will have their own testimonies of how they do this. Now, if you have your own, I'd like for you to go and comment and tell me the best method, because everyone has their own way. We're going to download a little plugin that I've discovered recently through a couple of blogs that I follow, and it's called Automatic Duck, or Auto Duck for short. In order to get this app or this plugin, all you have to do is go to Google and type in Auto Duck, Automatic Duck, or just go to automaticduck.com. Here's the link, and here's the website. This is an absolutely free plugin that you can download for your Final Cut Pro of any sort. As you see here, we have all types and all versions of the Final Cut suite. All of them, except for Final Cut 10, are supported. So if you are working with Final Cut 10.0.3 at least, it currently does not work in that format. So just hold tight. These guys are really good about upgrading their stuff all the time. So, you know, whatever. Anyway, so here we are. We've gone into the page, and we're going to go ahead and click here to download. It is free, and it's going to help you out in your process. So go ahead and download that first, and then get it installed into your plugins. For methods on doing that, look below in the description. It can give you a little bit more thorough of a detail on how to do the installation, but we don't want to waste our time on that. What we want to do is, once you've installed it, use it. Our first step is to cut, which we've already done, and that's very simple, so simple we don't really need to go into that right here. But the next step will be to send it to After Effects, which we're going to do right now. After you've installed Auto Duck, you're going to go up to your browser, and you're going to give whatever timeline you're working on, and this one is called Mary Edit Unkeyed Copy. I'm going to make sure it's selected. I'm going to right-click on it, or control-click, and go down to Export, XML. Now, for those of you who have never used an XML before, don't know what this is, it's basically like the HTML version of your video. Everything you see in the timeline here can be jotted down into script that your computer will read, and Final Cut calls that the XML format. So what it's doing is it's taking everything you see here visually, and it's coding it like the Matrix. So Automatic Duck is basically like a bridge from Final Cut to After Effects and lets them speak the same language. It's like the translator that helps it out to understand the same language. So we've gone again to right-click, then go to Export XML, and then this little guy pops up, and we're just going to go ahead and say OK. The formats, you can go on to version 5. Automatic Duck is, if you've just downloaded it, it's going to understand version 5 format of XML, which is totally fine. Click OK, and you're good to go. The next step is, of course, to save the XML file, which again is just going to be a massive text file that's going to make no sense to you or me, but it will make perfect sense in the near future. So I'm going to go to a random folder. I'm going to call this Mary XML for After Effects. I save, boom, exports the data, great. Now let's go ahead and jump into After Effects. Brand new project, absolutely new, fresh, great. I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to go into Import, and if you've already installed the Automatic Duck, you're going to see the Automatic Duck Pro Import AE option right here. Give it a click, and then find your XML folder, which right here, there she is, Mary XML After Effects. Click open, and voila, just like that, Automatic Duck is going to do all the dirty work for us, putting every single clip exactly where it belonged in Final Cut Pro into After Effects. Click on your composition on the left, and it will automatically, voila, open it up, boom, there it is. Just like we saw it in Final Cut, it's all set up and ready to rock inside of Adobe After Effects. And there you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As you know, this is episode 1 of 3. In this series, again, we're going over green screening from After Effects to Final Cut Pro and vice versa. So stick around next week when we go into the next part of this, where we actually talk about how to green screen in After Effects and then bring it into Final Cut, and then from there, make it more interesting than it already is using your green screening inside of Final Cut and After Effects. Just stick around for next week. If you like the episode, click the like button. Don't forget about that. Also, subscribe up here if you want to keep seeing and getting these updates, so you can see the next episode and so forth and so on. And likewise, if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Here's my Twitter, JonAcostaProductions.com. That's my email if you have any questions as well. Hope to see you guys next week. Take care.